My name is Kathy Bittner and I'm a business developer at Canon. Today I'm delighted to introduce you to a presentation from our latest Canon Future Promotion Forum from Ludovic Martin. He's an e-commerce specialist and web-to-print consultant, and his presentation tells about the changing landscape in e-commerce and the opportunities for print in the mix. So I hope you enjoy it, and lots of other content there as well.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to this webinar from Canon. I'm Ludovic Martin. I'm independent consultant in web-to-print and e-commerce, and I'm also blogger publishing Print.watch blog about online printing industry and e-commerce. So today I'm going to talk about how printing can be more efficient than online advertising in the e-commerce funnel. So what's happening today after the COVID crisis? We saw during this crisis that e-commerce has boomed both in B2C and B2B thanks to remote working, for example, that has accelerated the digital transformation. And today, even in B2B environment, purchasers are looking for online solution for their procurement. And as a consequence, the number of e-commerce stores has increased at a dramatic speed during the COVID crisis. For example, in France, during the 2020 year, you had more than 17,000 additional sites created. So that's quite good news, but at the same time, it has a tremendous consequence on the advertising industry. As you have more advertisers on the market, the consequence is the advertising space available on the market is not extensible. So the consequence is that your costs are increasing because you have more competition. And also you have more advertising on social media, on Google, and so on. And the consequence is that customers are today suffering what scientists are calling the ad fatigue. It means that there are too many ads available on websites, on newspapers, online, or social media. So people are tired by this, so they develop what they call banner blindness. Their brain is hiding banners and ads. Also, they are suffering questions of privacy because they understand they are tracked on different devices they used. And new features like what's happening in iOS 14 is preventing from tracking for customers. So they're understanding that advertising becomes too intrusive. And that period has revealed some weaknesses of digital marketing. For example, what I was talking just before is non-respect of user privacy. People understand that they are tracked everywhere. You even see advertising from Apple about this, things that on their devices you are not tracked compared to others. The bid model is leading to explosive costs because of this competition. So lead acquisition on digital marketing is costing higher and higher. You also have question of fraud. Many of clicks on banners and videos and so on are generated by robots. And this is a real problem because it participates to the increase of costs. And also what is complex today that at the origin it was easy for someone to create campaigns on Google ads or Facebook ads, but now it's really complex. You can lose a lot of money, and if you want to be efficient, it's really technical and hard. So you need to hire people that are trained and that are costing a lot, and it's a kind of black box syndrome. And one of the latest weakness is the recent taxes that government put on GAFA. Especially on Google, and concerning advertising, these taxes has been transferred directly to advertisers, so they are paying 2 or 3% more because of these taxes. Today, marketers are saying something that is opening up a kind of warning in their mind. This increase of cost per clicks or cost per mile, so the cost of one click on the banner is really increasing months after months. At the same time, the click-through rate, so it's the ratio between the number of print displays of banners and the number of clicks that are generated and visits to your website is decreasing, so the ratio is not good. And once customers is arriving on the website, the conversion rates, which is a ratio between number of visits generated by a campaign and transactions generated by these campaigns, it's also decreasing, which is not good. So the performance, global performance of web marketing campaigns is really decreasing at this time. Today, e-commerce advertisers and shops are looking for different aspects. The first one is transparency. They need to understand how they spend their budget, what customers are really seeing, clicking on and feeling, and what the real performance of their campaign. And at the same time, they want to increase this performance at every step of the customer journey, using the right channel and the right media to increase this revenue generated by their campaigns. For that, they need triggers, because they need to plug that to their marketing platforms to use the right tool at the right moment to increase customer lifetime value. And also, more and more advertisers today are looking for sustainability. They understand that digital advertising has a very poor carbon footprint, and they understand that video formats and social medias, the carbon footprint is not very good, and so they are looking for alternatives to reduce the carbon footprint of their campaigns and improve the global performance in carbon footprint of their company. The problem is that modern marketers are digital native, so they have a language that is focused on web marketing. They are talking, for example, about ROAS, which stands for return on ad spend, which is a ratio between what you spend and what you generate in terms of revenue. CPC for cost per click, CTR for click-through rate, triggers, marketing automation software, and so on. So this is their mindset. And the problem is that printing industry doesn't talk the same language. It's always in an old-fashioned language, and the language they talk is not compliant with the language of modern digital native marketers. So I wanted to explain to marketers that often print is more efficient than search engine advertising or social media advertising. If we compare on the same basis, and the first one is ROIS, so return on ad spend, I've made a comparison on my blog between Google Ads, Facebook Ads, email marketing for digital, and direct marketing campaign and inbox flyers for printing industry with postcard or leaflets. And I compared the final performance and the ratio between revenue generated and cost of these different channels. And in many cases, the return on ad spend of print campaigns is really higher than digital marketing. Why? Because the performance of printing is higher, because often it's the accurate media that creates surprises and show that the brand is paying attention to their customers. Also, it provides different senses like smell, feel, touch, things that you don't have in digital marketing. So the lifetime is longer because you can read the flyer multiple times, you can give it to someone else. So it's the lifetime of the advertising is longer, and also you can have a longer message and show different things and more things than just a banner or a short video. And also today with cost per clicks that are reaching often to more than 10 euros, print is cheaper when you calculated the cost per click of a postcard or a leaflet. It's lower, but marketers don't know that. They still have an old-fashioned way of thinking. So what I try to do is not to oppose print and digital in the marketing mix. I just want to advise marketers to combine them. There are different tools, and you should use the right tool or the right weapon at the right step of the customer journey based on cost, ROIS, reactivity, or carbon footprint. And what I try to do is to show that and illustrated that in this diagram. So I will send it to you, or it will be available after the webinar, and you will be able to see it in a higher resolution version. What I'm doing is here just showing all the channels you have in both digital media, print, and offline media. And here it's the customer journey from acquisition to conversion, retention, and after reactivation. So that is the standard customer journey in e-commerce, which now become a kind of standard in web industry. And I try to show that depending on the step you are in this journey, you can use different triggers, different channels, both from digital or printing at different steps to generate loyalty. And believe me, that's working. So as an example, I've done that with companies in automotive industry, and they started making magazines, for example, when they ship parcels, magazine about their industry, showing new products and so on. And the result was quite crazy because it generates really a real interest. Customers were happy to have this gift. They received that as a gift, not an advertising, and they took time to read it, and they took time to see products on the storefront, and at the end it generated two good consequences: an increase of the average order value, and also an increase of the number of orders per customer. So I hope I have convinced you, and that you will take into consideration printing in your marketing mix. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.